everybody, we're back, and tonight we're reviewing the very first episode of Fear the Walking Dead, the series premiere. So if you have not seen it, and you don't want to get spoiled, you're going to want to skip this video and come back later, because everything we say from this point forward is going to be a spoiler. So one of the things we did in the lead up to Fear the Walking Dead was we tried really hard to avoid major spoilers. So when they released the first 3 minutes of the show, we didn't watch it at all. So the first 3 minutes was an utter surprise to us, and it started off super high tension, which I think it really had to, because the rest of the episode was really necessarily slow and steady.
Yeah, you kind of have, you got to draw somebody, you got to draw them in, and they can kind of do the slow and steady because they already have The Walking Dead to go on.
Yeah.
We've all seen it. We all know what's going on. We know what is to come.
Yeah.
So they can start off slow, and they need to, because something like this wouldn't just happen and everybody suddenly knows that this is, bad. They wouldn't know.
And the virus or the whatever is whatever the cause of the turn is just this kind of thing that's going on that people are like vaguely aware of. Like there's reports in a few like 5 states I think the kids said, or something like that. And it's just like this thing that people are just in the back of their minds, kind of like Ebola was. But, especially young people, or the one young kid, like the one nerdy kid, he's the one who's like on top of things.
I know what's happening.
Like,
I've been training for this my whole life.
I really want to see more of that kid. One of the things that I actually really enjoyed about the episode, and I think I'll enjoy it throughout the show, is the family unit that we get introduced to is very dysfunctional. We have Travis and Maddie, and they're, in a relationship, and they're teachers at this school. And then there's Nikki, who is the drug-addicted kid of Maddie, and then there's Alicia, who's Maddie's daughter. And
it might be Felicia, because sometimes it sounded like Alicia, and sometimes it sounded like Felicia, so I'm not really sure which one it is.
And then Travis has an ex-wife and a son whose names I'm sure got mentioned, but I didn't write them down.
They were in there for like 2 seconds.
Yeah,
I'm sure they'll be in a lot more.
Yeah, we'll catch up with them again later. But I really like the dysfunctional family unit. Like, this is 100% not the Brady Bunch.
What I really liked is that the story kind of focuses around Nick, who's
a
drug addict. And it's a really interesting perspective to tell the story, because obviously a drug addict who sees this is going to think he got some bad shit and that he had a massive hallucination, and nobody's going to believe him, and he's going to be losing his mind because he thinks he's hallucinating all this stuff.
And by the end of the episode, he is a complete basket case.
Yeah, he is like, he's afraid of himself almost. Like he doesn't know what's going on.
Well, he said earlier in the episode, he's like, if that came out of a drug, okay. But if that came out of my mind, then I am insane.
Yeah.
And that is a terrifying thought.
Yeah.
And that's what he's going through. And so it was really interesting to get his perspective. And it did hit pretty close to home for me, because I have brothers who are very much like Nikki. So I'm like, I can relate to everything that family is going through, aside from zombies.
Yeah.
So from the first 3 minutes of the episode, where Nikki has his first encounter with a walker, Gloria, it seems like it's about 3 days, 2 to 3 days. So things start descending into the full-on turn pretty quickly, it seems like.
I mean, they mention that day when when he's hospitalized and his mom goes to school. They mention that there's a lot of kids absent.
Yeah.
But it's like 3 days later, and the school's calling.
5 kids show up to school. It's a half day.
The county decides to call it a half day and send everybody home early.
Yeah.
So that's how quickly it's escalating.
Yeah. When they're driving to the church, there is nobody out and about.
It's like they know and they're inside.
There's like one homeless guy who might be a walker, you don't really know, walking in a park, and that's it. There's nobody on the streets.
Yeah.
And even as the episode ended and it zooms out, you see the train go by, and you see a few cars go by, but basically no traffic.
Yeah, it is.
And this is LA we're talking about. It's infamous for its traffic.
Yeah, you do notice, like, as the episode progresses, less and less people are outside. It's like the rumor mill has gone and people are hearing it's word of mouth is getting out that there's something bad happening, just stay inside.
And this is the kind of thing, of course, that would spread really fast because everybody's infected. So everybody who dies gets it. So like Calvin, he gets shot and he gets up. Speaking of Calvin, okay, so we meet Calvin, and my initial reaction to Calvin was, I like Calvin. I hope we see him more. And then we find out, like, 10 minutes later that he's Nikki's dealer.
Yeah, it's like he was, buddies with Nikki, and they were druggies together, and he got his shit together, got clean, and started dealing.
Yeah.
That's what it seems like.
So Calvin takes Nikki out to put him down because he's causing him trouble. You know, his mom and her boyfriend came to Calvin's pop's house, or Calvin's family's house, looking for Nikki. So he's like, I can't have that. So he decides to put Calvin down. You know, in a tussle for the gun, Nikki shoots Calvin. Calvin dies. So at some point, Nikki contacts Travis and Maddie.
Yes, and
they come to get him.
Yeah, and
this is the really best scene of the episode to me.
What's really great is he's telling them, I killed him, and his mom's almost like, he's probably just high. Like, she really doesn't believe him.
Yeah.
And, and the boyfriend, who probably doesn't have as much experience with it as she does, is like, well, if he did, it was self-defense. And they get there, and of course there's no body, so, their immediate thought was, yeah, he's high again.
Yeah. And then as they're driving away, zombie Calvin, he's they see him. He's coming down the little overpass or whatever.
Yeah, and that part there is when Nikki kind of realizes, he's like, I wasn't losing my mind. Yeah. I'm not crazy. I did not hallucinate that. So, he is dead. And he's walking, and he tries to warn them, and of course they're not listening.
He's yelling out the window, he's gonna kill you, get back in the car. He's yelling for them to not mess with Calvin. And sure enough, he almost gets Maddie.
Almost.
Like for a second, I'm like, did he get her? And no, because, she didn't, she would have looked down at her arm, oh man, that fucker bit me. But no, he didn't get her. Nikki runs him over twice. Was it third rule of zombie apocalypse? Double tap. So Nikki double taps him still though.
Yeah, they go down to look, and he's still alive, and he's still like looking at them, and I think that's when they all realize that this is not normal. This is not
Travis
right.
and Maddie finally have their oh shit moment.
Yeah, and I think this is where Travis is gonna be like, Nikki was right.
And that's pretty much everything. Like, this episode was very much a slow and steady wins the race kind of episode, which is exactly what they needed to do. And it's actually a very courageous thing to do, because your traditional zombie apocalypse type show or movie, you get dumped right in the middle of it, and it's going on, or hitting its full steam ahead right as it begins. But having this slow begin, it's much more 28 weeks later than 28 days later.
Yeah, and it's also very, very plausible. Like, if there was a virus and this was happening, this is plausible for how it would happen. It makes perfect sense that a shooting gallery is where it happens, because she probably OD'd.
Yeah.
She was infected. They're all infected, and she OD'd, and that's why she turned. And she probably went downstairs to get help because he wasn't waking up. It makes perfect sense, and it's extremely believable. Like, this could be how it happened, or happens.
Yeah. Okay, I think that's pretty much it for this review. We would love to know what you guys thought of the episode, so let us know in the comments. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to click the like button and subscribe for more content.
And thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.